Hi, it's Miss Lewis again. We are ready to read chapter 19 in The Tiger Rising. So let us start. I know that you're ready. Get those listening ears on and let's do it. Beauchamp hit the brakes. We're almost there, he said. You gotta close your eyes so it's a surprise. Rob closed his eyes and the Jeep went forward slowly. Don't cheat now, Beauchamp said. Keep them eyes closed. Yes, sir, Rob said. All right, Beauchamp said finally. Go on and open them up. He had pulled the Jeep up as close to the tiger cage as possible without driving right into it. Tell me what you see, he crowed. Tell me what is before your very eyes. A tiger, said Rob. He let his mouth drop open. He tried to look excited and amazed. Darn straight, said Beauchamp. King of the jungle, and he is all mine. Wow, said Rob. You own him? That's right, said Beauchamp. Fellow I know owed me some money. Paid me with the tiger. That's the way real men do business. In tigers, he come complete with the cage. The toothpick in the side of his mouth danced up and down. Beauchamp put a finger up to steady it into silence. What are you going to do with him? Rob asked. I'm studying my options. I figure I could set him up out front of the Kentucky Star, have him draw me some more business into the motel. The tiger stood and stared at Beauchamp. Beauchamp looked away from him. He tapped his thick fingers on the steering wheel. I almost might just kill him, Beauchamp said, and skin him and make me a tiger coat. I ain't made up my mind. He's a lot of work, I'll tell you that. He needs meat twice a day. That's where you come in. I need you to come out here and feed him. $2 every time you do it. How's that sound? Rob swallowed hard. How do I get the meat in the cage? He asked. Beauchamp dug in his pocket and pulled out a set of keys. With these, he said. He shook the keys and they gave him a sad jingle. Don't pay attention to those big keys. They're for the locks on the door. Open them up and that tiger will get out and eat you for sure. You understand? I ought not to give you this whole set, but I know you won't open up that door, right? You ain't no fool, right? Rob, terrified that the keys to the cage existed and that they were about to be handed to him, nodded. See this tiny key? Yes, Rob nodded again. That's for the food door, right there. Beauchamp pointed at a small door at the bottom of the cage. You just open that up and toss the meat in a piece at a time, like this. Beauchamp swung himself out of the Jeep with a grunt. He reached in the back seat for the grocery bag, took out a piece of meat, bent over and unlocked the tiny door, opened it, and threw the meat in. The tiger leaped forward, and Beauchamp took a quick step backward, stumbling. That's all there is to it, he said, straightening up. His forehead was shiny with sweat, and his hands were trembling. What's the tiger's name? Rob asked. Name, said Beauchamp. He ain't got a name. You gotta name something before you toss it a piece of meat. Rob shrugged and blushed. He bent over to scratch his leg so that he wouldn't have to look at Beauchamp's sweaty, angry face. You want to get introduced proper? Said Beauchamp in a mocking voice. Well then, get on out of the Jeep. Rob climbed down. Beauchamp grabbed hold of the fence and shook it. The tiger looked up from his meat. His muzzle was red with blood. He stared at Beauchamp with a fierce look in his eyes that was familiar to Rob. "Hey!" Beauchamp shouted. "You see this boy here?" He pointed at Rob. "He's your meal ticket." "Hmm, not me. It's the boy. He's got the keys now. Understand?" I don't got them no more. This boy's got them. He's your boy." The tiger stared at Beauchamp a minute more, and then he slowly lowered his head and started back to work on the meat. "Now you know each other," said Beauchamp. He pulled a tattered bandana from his pocket and wiped off the sweat on his forehead. On the hair-raising ride back to Kentucky, Rob realized who the tiger's stare reminded him of. It was Sistine. He knew that when he told her he had the keys to the cage, her eyes would glow with the same fierce light. He knew that she would insist that now they had to let the tiger go. Now, chapter 20. Now let's see if they do. The last thing Beauchamp said to him was, "Don't forget. Now, this is our business deal. It don't concern nobody else. You take that bag of meat and hide it somewhere, and I'll bring you more meat tomorrow. In the meantime, you keep your mouth shut." At 3 o'clock, the school bus pulled up. Belching and gasping and sighing, Norton and Billy Threemonger started pelting Rob with date palms before the bus even came to a complete stop. The bus door opened, and Sistine came running toward him, dodging the dates, looking as serious as a soldier on a battlefield. "Let's go see the tiger," she shouted to him. Rob was dismayed to see that she was still wearing his shirt and jeans. "Where's your dress?" he blurted. "In here," she said. She held up the same grocery bag he had given her the night before. "I changed as soon as I got out of the house. My mother doesn't know. I found a book in the library today and read about big cats. Do you know that panthers live in the woods here? We could set the tiger free and he could live with them. Come on," she said. She started to run. Rob ran too, but the keys to the cage felt heavy in his pocket, and they bumped up against his leg and slowed him down so that Sistine beat him there. When he arrived, she was standing pressed up against the fence, her fingers wrapped in the chain link. "Tigers are an endangered species, you know," she said. "It's up to us to save him." "Watch out, he don't attack you," Rob said. "He won't. Tigers only attack people if they're desperately hungry." "Well, this one ain't hungry." "How do you know?" Sistine asked, turning around and looking at him. "Well," said Rob, "he ain't skinny, is he?" "He don't look starved." Sistine stared at him hard, and Rob opened his mouth and let the word fall out. "Keys," he said, every secret magic word he had ever known. Tiger and Cancer and Caroline, every word in his suitcase seemed to fall right out of him when he stood before Sistine. "What?" she said. "Keys," he said again. He cleared his throat. "I got the keys to the cage." "How?" "Beauchamp," he told her. "He hired me to feed his tiger, and he gave me the keys." "All right," said Sistine. "Now all we have to do is open the locks and let him go." "No," said Rob. "Are you crazy?" she asked him. "It ain't safe. It ain't safe for him. My friend Willie Mae, she had a bird and let it go, and it just got ate up." "You're not making sense," she told him. "This is a tiger. A tiger, not a bird. And I don't know who Willie Mae is, and I don't care. You can't stop me from letting this tiger go. I'll do it without the keys. I'll saw the locks off myself." "Don't," said Rob. "Don't," she mocked back. And then she spun around and grabbed hold of the cage and shook it the way Beauchamp had earlier that day. I hate this place, she said. I can't wait for my dad to come and get me. When he gets here, I'm going to make him come out here and set this tiger free. That's the first thing we'll do. She shook the cage harder. I'll get you out of here, she said to the pacing tiger. I promise. She rattled the cage as if she were the one who was locked up. The tiger paced back and forth without stopping. Don't, said Rob. But she didn't stop. She shook the cage and beat her head against the chain link. And then he heard her gasp. He was afraid that she may be choking. He went and stood next to her, and he saw that she was crying. Crying. Sistine. He stood beside her, terrified and amazed. When his mother was alive, when he still cried about things, she had been the one who comforted him. She would cup her hand around the back of his neck and say to him, "You go on and cry. I got you. I got good hold of you." Before Rob could think whether it was right or whether it was wrong, he reached out and put his palm on Sistine's neck. He could feel her pulse beating in time with the tiger's pacing. He whispered to her the same words his mother had whispered to him. "I got you," he told her. "I got hold of you." Sistine cried and cried. She cried as if she would never stop, and she did not tell him to take his hand away. Okay, readers, we're going to stop right here. That was the end of chapter 20. Thank you.